Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Haribol. Jai Om Vishnupat Paramhams Parivrajikacharya Ashtotar Shat Shri Śrīmad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Granthraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are continuing reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 9th Canto, Chapter 10, entitled The Pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. And today we'll do texts 52 and 53. 52 is on the board, so we'll do it together. Vanani nadyo girayo varshani dvipa sindhavaha sarve kama dugha asan prajanam bharatarshava. Vanani nadyo girayo varshani dvipa sindhavaha Sarve kamadugha asan prajanam bharatarshava vanani nadyo girayo varshani dvipasindhavah sarve kamadugha asan prajanam bharatarshava. Mataji's. Vanani nadyo girayo varshani dvipasindhavah sarve kamadugha asan prajanam bharatarshava vanani nadyo girayo varshani dvipasindhavah sarve kamadugha asan prajanam bharatarshava. Vanani, the forests, Nadya, the rivers, Giraya, the hills and mountains, Varshani, various parts of the states or divisions on the surface of the earth, Dvipa, islands, Sindhava, the oceans and seas, Sarve, all of them, Kamaduga, full of their respective opulences, Asan, existed like that, Prajanam, of all the living beings, Bharata Rishabha, O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Bharata dynasty. Translation. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Bharata dynasty, during the reign of Maharaj Ramachandra, the forests, the rivers, the hills and mountains, the states, the 7 islands and the 7 seas were all favorable in supplying the necessities of life for all living beings. Text 53. Nadi vyadi jara glani dukha shoka bhaya klamaha mrityushchanichchatam nasid rame rajanya dokshaje. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. When Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was the king of this world, all bodily and mental suffering, disease, old age, bereavement, lamentation, distress, fear and fatigue were completely absent. There was even no death for those who did not want it. Purport. All these facilities existed because of Lord Ramachandra's presence as the king of the entire world. A similar situation could be introduced immediately, even in this age called Kali, the worst of all ages. It is said, Kali Kale Nam Rupe Krishna Avatar. Krishna descends in this Kali Yuga in the form of his holy name, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. If we chant offenselessly, Rama and Krishna are still present in this age. The kingdom of Rama was immensely popular and beneficial. And the spreading of this Hare Krishna movement can immediately introduce a similar situation even in this Kali Yuga. That's the end of purport. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here we are going through Lord Ramachandra's pastimes. So there are different incarnations of the Supreme Lord. There are innumerable incarnations, and some of those are mentioned in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And those Leela Avtaras which are mentioned here, 22 or 26, we are only supposed to know about them. And that's enough for our spiritual advancement. So here Lord Ramachandra is described in 2 chapters. And then there are many chapters which describe Krishna. So although they are same person, but they come in different ages for different purposes. The main purposes are the same: Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkritam, dharma samsthapanarthaya. So those purposes are same for all incarnations. But then there are details which may be different. In Laghu Bhagavatamrita by Rupa Goswami, it is mentioned that there are innumerable incarnations in different categories. And amongst all incarnations, 3 incarnations are most prominent. And they are mentioned as a separate category. And it's called Para Avastha. So those 3 categories. The one category which consists of 3 incarnations. So one of them, of course, is Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then there is Lord Ramachandra. And then, anyone knows the third one? Nrsimhadev. So these 3 are mentioned there. So does that mean that Varahadev or Vamanadev or any other incarnation, they are inferior? They are not inferior, but they exhibit less potencies, less qualities. And that's why these 3 incarnations are categorized separately. So Lord Ramchandra is mentioned there in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, which is one of the Para Avastha forms. Then in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there is a story of Gopakumar, how he goes back to Godhead. And it's not like a fictional story, it's the story of all living entities who go back to Godhead, how they go back to Godhead. All the details are mentioned, and nothing is fabricated. It's not a, artificial, just like a imagination of someone, of Sanatana Goswami. It's not an imagination. All the descriptions are given of different realms within this material world and then outside of this material realm. So there it's mentioned that in the spiritual world, first there is the Brahma Jyoti, that's the beginning of the spiritual world. And then when one advances from there, he can go to Vaikuntha Lok, where there are innumerable planets, and each planet is predominated by one of the Narayana forms. So all these Vishnu or Narayana forms have their own planet there. And then if one further goes from there, then he can go to Ayodhya Dham, where Lord Ramchandra is there, in the spiritual world. And then one can go even further to Dwarka Dham. And then finally he can even enter Goloka Vrindavan Dham, where Krishna is there. The Braj Krishna or Vrindavan Krishna. In Dwarka there is Vasudev Krishna. So all these realms are present, and detailed explanation is given in various shastras, especially Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So Gopakumara, he was originally attracted to the Braj Krishna, and that was his form initially. When he was born in the area of Govardhan on this planet, and then slowly he advances to the spiritual world. So wherever he would go, he would initially appreciate that place, but then he would feel little dissatisfaction because his worshipable deity Madan Gopal or Braj Krishna wasn't present in any other realm. So he wasn't fully satisfied. So that motivated him to go further and further. And various personalities, including Narad Muni, they helped him to go further and further. So when Gopakumara reaches Vaikuntha, he was there and he saw all the residents there. They were worshipping Narayana in awe and reverence, because that's the predominating mood in Vaikuntha, awe and reverence. And Gopakumara had his attire as a cowherd boy. So there in Vaikuntha, everyone asked him to give up that attire and take up more like a royal dress. But he refused. He didn't take that dress because he liked that dress and he didn't want to give up his mood of a Braj Bhakta. So then he felt dissatisfaction there and he moved on. He wanted to go further. And the next realm was Ayodhya. So then he started walking on a path towards Ayodhya. So just a couple of things I want to mention because we are reading about Lord Ram. So very interesting things are given there. So on the way, he saw there were some monkeys. And the monkeys were astonished to see this cowherd boy coming on that path. And Gopakumara also had a flute. So the monkeys snatched that flute. Because monkeys are very mischievous, you know. In Vrindavan, they snatch your specs or your bag or your bead bag. So you have to be careful. So there in the spiritual world, monkeys exhibit the same nature. They snatched his flute. So anyway, so he entered further. And then he saw the residents of Ayodhya. They were so beautiful. Even more beautiful than the residents of Vaikuntha. So there he saw and he wanted to see Lord Ram. So one important point to understand is, there is no competition. Is there a competition between Ram Bhaktas and Krishna Bhaktas? There may be if one doesn't have full understanding. That, oh, I'm a Ram Bhakta, Ram is better. He had only one wife. Tomorrow's verse will discuss that, Eka Patni Vrata. And Krishna, we don't know, you know, some people, those who don't have full understanding, they think like that. That Lord Rama had a good character, but Krishna, we may be known as God, but he doesn't exhibit a very good character. He's dancing at night with others' wives. What's going on there? So they don't understand the supreme position of Krishna. So actually there is no competition. So when Gopakumara went to Ayodhya and he was asked to take darshan of Lord Ram, so he didn't mind because it's the same personality, just exhibiting little less features or qualities or powers or opulences. But most of the opulences or powers Lord Ram is also exhibiting. So it is said that if you love someone and someone else also has similar qualities to some extent, you would also like that person. So in that sense, a Krishna Bhakta never He doesn't think that other incarnations are, inferior. So Lord Ram exhibits this ideal character as a householder. So Krishna also does that. Krishna is the full-fledged personality of Godhead who exhibits everything. He also exhibits, when he is in Dwarka, he is exhibiting the pastimes as a perfect householder. He would wake up early in the morning in Brahma Muhurta, and there it's mentioned, he is in Dwarka on this planet, and he has all these 16,108 queens and 16,108 palaces, most comfortable, with all jewels and comforts and luxury. But still, he would get up early in the morning and worship demigods. Why would Krishna worship demigods? Because he's showing the ideal character of a householder, that in the morning you wake up and do some worship according to Shastra. So he also exhibits those pastimes. But then he goes further, because there is no contamination in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he can apparently go outside the Vedic boundary and exhibit his pastimes like Rasa Leela and other pastimes. So different incarnations have different potencies. They have the same potency, but they exhibit different potencies. So a devotee of Krishna, when he hears about pastimes of other incarnations, he can see the resemblance. So that's why when Gopakumar went to Ayodhya, he was not thinking that it's someone else, or I don't want to see Lord Ram, I just want to go and see Madan Gopal. He was fully satisfied in all the realms he went. But then, because his main attraction was for Braja Krishna, he went further and further. So like Hanuman is the devotee of Lord Rama. He's fully satisfied with Lord Rama. He doesn't want to worship Krishna. He's just fully satisfied. He's attracted to those features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he's satisfied with that. But Gopakumara especially had attraction for Braj Krishna. So he went forward. So anyway, so when he was in Ayodhya, he saw Bharat there. And because Gopakumara had not seen Lord Ram before, so he thought this is Lord Ram. And he paid his obeisances that, oh, my Lord Ram, please accept my humble obeisances. And Bharat was very disturbed by hearing this praise and, by seeing Gopakumara's obeisances. So he said, oh, no, I'm just a servant of Lord Ram. I'm not Lord Ram. You can go in the inner precincts and see Lord Ram there. So, and anyway, eventually he saw Lord Ram and met Lord Ram. And eventually there's the story that further he goes to Golok Vrindavan and meets Krishna. And there he has his original constitutional position as a cowherd boy. And his name there was Sarupa. So all these things are mentioned. Why are these things mentioned? Because that is our story as well. We were in spiritual world, we have fallen down here, but we have an eternal spiritual position and a form and a service which no one else can take. So when will we realize that? So we are doing practice, we are doing sadhana bhakti to realize that. So that's why whatever service we do, doesn't matter what service is there in temple or in relation to Krishna. Whatever service is there, if we take it seriously, then Krishna actually, he's seeing, he's watching that, oh, this devotee is taking his service very seriously. Let me give him something else to take seriously. And then eventually, when we become serious enough, Krishna is willing to reveal our original constitutional position in the spiritual world. The form, the name, the service, everything. So one Acharya says this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the Siddha mantra. We don't need anything else. In today's purport, it's given that We are not in Kali Yuga in one sense. If we take shelter of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, if we take shelter of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can become fully perfect. Because time, place, circumstance and the particular personality, that doesn't matter. These are temporary situations. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is eternal mantra. And our constitutional position is an eternal situation. And we can access that through Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that's there, So we have fallen on this material plane and we are trying to take pleasure in temporary things. And we are trying to depend on these temporary things, which have no permanent existence. So like all of us are sitting on the ground here. So it's a very stable situation. If someone stands on a floor which is not very stable, so that's a very dangerous situation. One can fall down. So that is our material existence. We are trying to take shelter or trying to stand on a shaky ground. So what are the things we are trying to take shelter of? Shukdev Goswami mentions in 2nd canto, Deha Patya Kalatradishu Atma Saneshu Asatsu Api. So these are fallible soldiers. We think we can depend on these things. Our body, our Deha, Apatya, our children, Kalatra, our wife or spouse, Adishu, and everything else. Our house, our bank balance. So these are all fallible soldiers. And if we take shelter of these things, it's like we are trying to stand on a very shaky ground, which we can fall anytime, sooner or later. We have to fall down from that situation because these things are bound to end. There is an end to all these things. The body will finish. Our family, we will be separated from our family in some way or the other. And then, our house, our bank balance, all these things are very temporary. So we use these things for service of Krishna as much as possible. But we shouldn't depend on them. That's the difference. It's not that we have to give up anything. We don't have to give up anything. Under guidance, we can use everything for Krishna's service. And then we'll be on a stable ground. Otherwise, whatever duties we perform in this world, on the material level, there is no use of that. There is no glory. Narad Muni says in 1st canto, Tyaktva swadharmam charnam bhujam harer bhajan apakvota patet tato yadi. If someone takes to spiritual life, to bhakti, and he falls down from that situation. We sometimes see devotees all around the world. Sometimes, people come to Krishna consciousness, then they leave. Or they may drop their sadhana practice, sadhana level. That is better than those who never come to bhakti. Even if someone comes to temple once, or someone takes prasad once, or sees Prabhupada's books once, that's beneficial as compared, that's eternally beneficial. And then Narad Muni says, Tyaktva sadharnam charnam bhujam harer bhajan apakva, means if the bhajan or the sadhana wasn't fully matured and someone drops from that standard, that is still better than a person who is trying to perform his duties on the material platform. Kovartha apto bhajatam swadharmata. If someone says, I am doing my duty on the material level and you devotees are escaping your duties, it's not that devotees escape their duties, they also do their duties. For in Varnashrama, all ashramas and all varnas have their duties. Brahmacharis have their duties, Grhasthas have their duties. So we have to balance. So we perform our duties for our conditional situation in Varnashrama and our constitutional situation as a spirit soul. But someone who just boasts of about his duties, about his performance of duties in the material world, there is no use. Why? Because they are standing on the shaky ground. If someone says, for example, deha apatya kalatradishu, if someone says, I am perfectly taking care of my body, I eat healthy food, vegan, organic food, no GMO free, So all these things can be there. But if you are just on the bodily platform, what's the use? Are you following other regulative principles? If a person is vegan and he indulges in illicit activities, he'll become a vegan animal next life. What's the use? So just being a vegetarian or taking care of the body in a nice way, there is no use. Just in that. So that's why there is no permanence on this material platform. In India, it's very common. Especially brahmacharis face these questions quite a lot, especially in India or in the West mostly. Indians, when we try to distribute books, we meet many Indians and they would ask brahmacharis, oh, you have left this world, left your duties, as if they are doing their duties perfectly according to Shastra. Even if they are, then there is no use to that. This, bhajtam swa dharmata. There is a common, in India it's quite commonly used, that word, Grhastha. He said, people say, we are in the Grhasthi. This is our Grhastha life. But they haven't read Bhagavatam. There it says there are two types of family men, Grhastha and Grihamedhi. So those who are not devotees, they are not Grhastha. So if someone is not taking shelter of Krishna, they are not in Grhastha ashram. They are in a Grihamedhi life. And that's compared to a dark well. Why is it compared to dark well, Grihamedhi life? A person, a traveler, in Vedic sense, they used to travel, We hear Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Devotees would walk from Bengal to Jagannath Puri every year, and on the way there would be rivers and forests like that. So people used to walk through forests like that. So a lone traveler is walking through a forest, and there is an old well which has dried, and now the grass has covered it. So a person, this traveler who is walking, he cannot see. There's a big ditch, big well there, which is covered with grass, and he falls in it. So now there is no one in the forest. So he cries there. From the bottom of the well, he cries, help! So there is no one to listen there, and he suffers. So that is Grihamedhi life. Because material world means problems. There's no permanent happiness here. So they are, Grihamedhis, they are calling out, oh, help, help. No one can listen because they are secluded in their households, which they made to try to enjoy, but they are stuck now. They are trapped. So that's why devotees are not, for devotees, the house becomes like Vaikuntha. Because it's a temple. This is one temple. Why is this building called temple? This wasn't called temple earlier. 50 years back. We just had a Golden Jubilee celebration. So why is this building called a temple from last 50 years? Because a pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, came here and installed these deities, and from 50 years, devotees are sincerely serving these deities. So that's why this building is called a temple. So that's the definition of a temple. So how does a devotee's house become a temple? Because there are deities there, or the picture of a deity, that's same as the deity. It depends on how you approach that picture. Bhava grahi janardana. Krishna takes your feeling. So if a person is a householder, he's a Grhastha, he stays at home, he doesn't even have deities, he has picture of deities, and he offers bhoga, and Krishna accepts it. So that building also becomes a temple. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur says in his song that when I see Aarti in my house, I see it as Vaikuntha. So Prabhupada says in all the houses, what does a Grhastha do in his house? He offers bhoga, accepts prasad, distributes prasad, does kirtan, reads Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad Gita. So that's what we do in the temple here. The same thing. There is no difference between a Grhastha's house and this temple. But at the same time, of course, as much as possible, Grhasthas visit the temple, because Prabhupada has created these temples so that this is one of the the goals of ISKCON, the seven purposes. So one of the purpose is that devotees can associate. So that's why this place is there, so we can associate together and hear the glory of Krishna and chant the holy name. So that's there. So it depends on our bhava, how we approach Krishna. So if we keep Krishna in the center, even if we fail in so many ways, we are still better than the karmis or materialists who are trying to improve their material situation. What are the 4 situations which people try to improve? Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shribir. They want to increase their beauty. They do plastic surgery or inject something on their face so it looks beautiful, or so many different things. They're trying to improve their beauty and wealth. They want to have more wealth. They want to improve their material learning. And then they want to show they come from a very high parentage. My lineage is better than yours. So they want to improve these 4 things. But what does Kunti Maharani say? Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shribir, Ed, Mana, Mada, Praman. So if you excel in one or more of these 4 things, you become little mad. It's like you become your consciousness become intoxicated. That a person who has more wealth, he walks like, his ahankara, his false ego increased to next level. So what's the use of all these things? These are all shaky grounds. The beauty will fade away, your wealth will be taken away, everything will be taken away. Your good parentage, that's just for this lifetime. Next lifetime in animal community, they look all equal. From the human point of view, they're very low species, other species. So there's no use of boasting about material aspects. So here we see Prabhupada is writing, we should take shelter of the holy name, and in that way here it says, in this age, in Kali Yuga, Kali Kale Nam Rupa Krishna Avatar. Krishna has descended in Kali Yuga in the form of his holy name. If we chant offenselessly, Rama and Krishna are still present in this age. So it's very interesting to understand in the relation to chanting, the process is very simple, but application is difficult. So what is the easy part and what is the difficult part about chanting? Easy part is the arrangement of the mantra. There's only 3 words. Rama, Krishna and Hare. There's 3 words. And 16 total words arranged in a particular way, as mentioned in the Shastra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So to learn the pronunciation of these 3 words and repeat it over and over again, that's the easy part. That's not difficult. There's no physical exertion. Initially, actually, it may feel like that. It's so difficult to chant. How can we, initially when we come to Bhakti, we may think, how can these devotees chant for 2 hours? Doesn't their mouth ache? I remember when I was a new devotee, I had moved to Bhakti Bhavan, just next block. And then Nityanand Priya Prabhu and other seniors were organizing these retreats with His Holiness Devamrita Maharaj to our Hare Krishna Valley. So one retreat I had attended, and in the next retreat, I was helping Nityanand Priya Prabhu to get new people there. So one person who I met, he came to the retreat. So this was my second retreat and that person's first retreat. So there in the morning we were chanting, and there was ample time given for chanting. So this person chanted a couple of rounds, maybe 2 or 3 rounds. And then he stopped, and then I tried to follow up with him. I said, what happened? You can chant more, there's heaps of time. There's nothing happening for next couple of hours. He said, my mouth is aching. He just chanted 2 rounds. So it's actually physically not difficult, it's a mental thing. So the easy part is chanting the mantra, producing that sound vibration loud enough so we can hear. That's the easy part. What's the difficult part? Here Prabhupada writes, if we chant offenselessly, Rama and Krishna are still present in this age. So that's the difficult part. To avoid offenses, that's the difficult part. So how do we know that if we are doing offenses or we are avoiding offenses? There's an easy test given in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. In 2nd canto, it's given Tadashma saram hridayam vatedam yad griyamaner harinama deyai na vikriyetat yada vikaro netre jalam gatra ruheshu harsha. That when you chant and the hairs of your body do not stand on end and tears do not fall from your eyes, it means your heart is steel framed, which means you have a hard heart. What does hard heart means? Hard heart means we are not Krishna conscious. A person who may exhibit soft-heartedness on the material plane actually is hard-hearted and selfish. How come a person is soft-hearted towards member of his own family or community or country and not soft-hearted towards others? So we can see all these wars based on this hard-heartedness. You kill one person of our country and our heart melts. Oh, how could they do this to women and children of our country? And then you are ready to, do any sort of barbarous act on the women and children of other countries. So is that soft heart? For a devotee, by chanting, he can actually develop the soft heart. And he can have same merciful feeling for all living entities, not only all human beings, but all living entities. So these people who say they are very merciful and charitable, most of them are meat eaters. Why not have mercy on the animals? Has anyone seen how animals are killed? I think one of the Beatles He said if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be vegetarian. So it's horrible. Many years back, around 15 years back, one of the pot washers here at the temple, his previous job was in the slaughterhouse, and he used to tell me all the ghastly things that happened there. He was a cleaner there, so don't want to mention what he told me. So it's horrible how much atrocities are performed on animals. And then how can humans expect a peaceful world? There's karma. You are performing these atrocities on animals and the karma strikes back. And women and children and men and old people, they are slaughtered in the same way. Through war or, war between countries or civil war within a country. This reason or that reason, that is secondary. The main root cause is you are performing atrocities on other species. So karma will strike back. So that's why people have hard heart, because they are on material level. They want to have soft heart only for a limited number of categories of persons or species. But for a devotee, by chanting Hare Krishna, we connect to the source of all species, Krishna. Krishna says, Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahad yonir aham bija pridapita. I am the seed-giving father of all species, which means all other species, if two persons have same father, so they are brother and sister, they are siblings. So actually all the species are brothers and sisters. Prabhupada, when he went to Sydney to the St. Francis Church, he mentioned that St. Francis used to say like that, these brother, sister, birds and others, animals. So a spiritually exalted person can see all species as related to ourselves, because we have the same Father, the Supreme Father, Krishna. So, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the difficult part is avoiding offenses. So learning about what are the offenses, we can slowly avoid them. And then we can see the actual effect of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Otherwise, what happens? Bahu janma kare yadi shavan kirtan. So a devotee doesn't become senior by number of years. A devotee becomes senior by his practice and development of qualities. And that happens by avoiding offenses. So a person who is, maybe externally practicing for so many decades, but if there are offenses, he will not develop good qualities. And he will be unable to get rid of all the anarthas, lust, anger, greed. In the morning we chant, Bahu janma kare yadi shavan kirtan, tabutana paye Krishna pade premadan. The story given by Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. There was a wedding party in Bengal. So the girl side family, they had to go for the wedding. Wedding was the following day. So at night they thought they will save the time. They will go in a boat, and it was a long distance. So they all got on the boat, and they asked the boatman to just go towards a particular village where the wedding was supposed to happen. So he said, no problem, whole night I'll just go. I'll row the boat and reach there. So whole night he rowed the boat, and in the morning when there was sunrise, they saw they were at the same place. And they said, what happened? You didn't do your job. We slept and we paid you some advance money, and you didn't do your job. We are still here. And he said, no, whole night I was rowing the boat. He said, how come then you are on the same, we are not moved at all? Because he had forgotten to remove the rope from, the anchor. He had forgotten to do that. So he was thinking he's rowing the boat and boat is moving. Because it was dark, he couldn't see, the boat wasn't moving. That's what happened with us. We are rowing the boat, Hare Krishna, with this, we're trying to row Hare Krishna. But then at the same time, we have put the anchor, we are doing offenses. So boat doesn't go anywhere. All the anarthas stay in the heart after many years. So we have to stop doing offenses. That's why every morning we chant those 10 offenses to the holy name. What are those 10 offenses? We have to take it very seriously. So that's the difficult part of chanting Hare Krishna. So slowly when we chant Hare Krishna, we try to glorify Krishna as much as possible. Then we will see that Krishna is present within our heart. He's dancing on our tongue. These are not just mythical, these are not fabrications or imagination that Krishna is dancing on your tongue when you chant the holy name. In one purport, Prabhupada says before chanting, he mentions 2 verses that you can recite. You can recite so many verses which glorify holy name. There are so many verses in Bhagavatam and other scriptures, but Prabhupada mentions these 2 verses. One is Nivritta Tarshay Rupagiya Manad, 10th canto, 1st chapter, 4th verse. And then one is from Nam Ashtak, I think 2nd or 3rd verse of Nam Ashtak. Nikhila Shruti Mauli Ratna Mala Dyuti Nirajita Pad Pankajanta. So there it's mentioned the lotus, the nails on the lotus feet of the holy name. So how come the name has name has feet? Anyone's name has feet here? How come a name has a foot? How is that possible? Because abhinnatvam nama namino, there is no difference between the name and the person whose name it is. So when we say Krishna, Krishna is present. And he is a person. Person means he has legs, he has feet, he has a form. So that's why holy name has a form, which is the form of Krishna. So there is no difference. So when we start avoiding offenses, we will realize that, when I'm chanting, Krishna is present. And then that's how the heart will melt. And then if someone sees Krishna or realizes Krishna is present, there will be, hairs will stand on end and there will be tears in the eyes. So that's the simple process of bhakti. So we have to do sadhana bhakti. In the sadhana bhakti, we may not fully realize it. We may realize all these things sometimes. And that should be our motivation. In sadhana bhakti, we do it because we are told to perform these activities and follow rules and regulations by senior authorities who have been doing these activities from decades. That's how we have our inspiration and faith. There's one verse in 11th canto where it says, Aham tarashyami duranta param tamo mukundangri nisheva yaiva. I will act, the devotee is praying. It's a prayer by Avanti Brahmana. He's saying, he has this faith that I will cross this material ocean. It's not easy. If someone is a good swimmer, how can the best swimmers cannot, swim across big ocean like Pacific Ocean. No one can do that. But here a devotee knows this whole material world, material existence is like a big ocean, but he's confident that he can cross across this ocean. Why? Purvatamair Maharshibi, because previous sages, acharyas, previous devotees have done it. I can see these devotees have no material attachment. That's the test. What is the test? If someone is advanced spiritually, he has no material attachments. He may have material things, possessions or relations, but when those things or relations are taken away, that devotee is not shaken. Guru napi vichalyate. That's the test. Tests come. So if you are shaken, which means we are still trying to take shelter of the shaky ground. Deha, apatya, kalatradishu, all the material things. We are trying to take shelter of those things. We are trying to depend on those things. We think these things will give us pleasure, permanent pleasure. But that's not possible. So that's why we hear Hari Katha daily. and try to glorify. One example in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is of Yudhishthir Maharaj. What did he do after winning the battle of Kurukshetra? He was going to be the king, or he became the emperor of the whole world, and his 4 brothers were assisting him. Although we see Arjuna was the main hero in Bhagavad Gita, but actually he was fighting on behalf of his elder brother. Yudhishthira had to become the emperor, and he became the emperor. And then when everything was fine, he thought he'll perform a Rajasuya Yajna. So there are many material benefits of performing these yajnas, but why was Yudhishthir Maharaj wanting to do this yajna? Because he wanted to glorify Krishna. One part of that yajna is that in the beginning of the yajna, the most glorious, the best person would be worshipped. It's called Agra Puja. So Yudhishthir Maharaj knew that Krishna is the best person, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. So if I perform this Rajasuya Yajna, then there will be an opportunity to prove that Krishna is supreme and he is the best person, because we will worship him there. So then when the time came, there was one envious person present there, whose name was Shishupal. He was the person who never wanted to hear about Krishna. So these Shishupal tendencies may be in us also. Sometimes, if our mind gives excuses why we should not listen to Bhagavatam class daily. Why Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya? We should listen to Bhagavatam class daily, either live or online, as much as possible live, because this online version is bit inferior. Not bit inferior, a lot inferior. So as much as possible, we have to listen to classes live. Why is that? I'll come back to Shishupal very soon. Why is online much inferior to live classes? Because Bhagavatam class is not just about collecting information. It's about developing relationship. So who can have a lifelong online relationship? And someone marries online, they may marry, but will they always contact each other online? What type of relationship? And I think in many countries like Japan or other places, they have the virtual boyfriend, girlfriend like that, a robot who will say all the things you want to hear. But is it very satisfying? Everyone still wants a personal relationship where you want to have, full access to everything of a person. So this Bhagavatam class is like developing relationship with Krishna and Prabhupada and all pure devotees. So online, okay, that's the next best if in emergency. So that's why we should try to hear these classes daily. So if there is something within us which stops us to do that, that's our Shishupal mentality. Keshava Prabhu was mentioning, right? In Kali Yuga, the demon and the devotee resides within the same body. So that's still there. So more we feed the demon side, it will become stronger. So anyway, so they were trying to glorify Krishna and do Agra Puja, but Shishupal couldn't tolerate the glory of Krishna because he was a demon. And then we know the whole pastime, Krishna chopped off his head with his Sudarshan disc, and not even one drop of blood fell, because that would have meant, contamination of the yajna. So Krishna made it sure that not even one drop fell when he chopped off his head. A perfect surgery. So then there was a small spark from within the body of Shishupal merged within the body of Krishna. And Krishna's glory was established there. So that's why that Rajasuya Yajna was performed. Yudhishthir Maharaj wanted to establish glory of Krishna. So more we hear the holy name of Krishna and glory of Krishna, we are actually developing our relationship more and more with the Supreme Lord. It is seen, especially in India, many people may say that, oh, we know Krishna, but do you know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? In Kali Yuga, it's not possible to understand Krishna without going through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the Yuga avatar, and he has spread the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra through Sankirtan movement. So it's not possible to understand Krishna without going through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But in India and other places also, you will see people, they pose themselves as acharyas, gurus, babas, as if they are very expert on Krishna and developing their true bhava, true love for Krishna. One young student, I was recently in India, so I was in touch with this young student. So he sent me a short video clip of a Baba and his disciples, and one of the disciples is crying, in his so-called spiritual ecstasy. And this young student who is started practicing Bhakti in ISKCON, he's asking, how can I develop this type of ecstasy? So I replied, I said, if you want to develop that type of ecstasy, you just put little lemon in your eyes and you will develop that type of ecstasy. But if you want real ecstasy, just read Prabhupada books and chant Hare Krishna mantra. So all these things are going on. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said there are two types of people, cheaters and cheated. So all these babas and false gurus and come and they say whatever they want they juggle their words in a very impressive way, and most people are fooled because they don't read Shastra, they don't hear Bhagavatam. If you hear Bhagavatam, you can immediately see, oh, this is not according to Shastra. There is a 3-point check, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Shastra never changes. So if someone is repeating the words of Shastra, then that's a bona fide Guru. So that's the test we have to take. So here, wonderful pastimes of Lord Ram are there, so there's a lot to learn. So I'll end there and see if you have any questions or comments on what we discussed. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Any mic there?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, you mentioned how Lord Ram and Lord Krishna are non-different from each other, but the potency may be a bit less in Lord Ram. So when we go to India, to our Faridabad temple, there we see the deities of Radha Govind and Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. But when we're taking darshan, the three bending form of Radha Govind looks much more attractive than Lord Ram, because Radha Govind, they're wearing their turban, the gopi dots, whereas Lord Ram, he's just wearing a crown. So if we have an attraction more diverting to the form of Lord Krishna than to Lord Ram, is that okay, or is that an offense to the deities?
There is no offense. So first of all, Lord Ram and Lord Krishna or any other Vishnu form, they all have same potency. The exhibition of potency or manifestation of potency is different. They all have same potency because it's the same person. And last week I gave example of a person, as Prabhupada said, Krishna is God at home and Vishnu is God at work. So, and the example is of a judge. He goes to the courtroom, he acts in a different way, very formal way. When he goes to his home, he's submissive to his grandchildren. He has the same potency at home as well, but he doesn't exhibit that. He doesn't say, oh, you have to have awe and reverence because I am a judge. And the grandson says, oh, you become a horse, I'll ride. So that's there. That's one point. So it's not an offense to have more attraction towards one of the forms, because that's our original constitutional position, to be attracted to one particular form. So there is no offense to other forms, because they are same person. You know. So a person, actually if you love someone, you will love that person. That's what I mentioned. That if someone loves Krishna, he would also love Lord Ram, because he is also exhibiting some of those potencies, may not be all, but it's the same person. So loving one of them means loving all. It's just that same example, if a judge is there, the family loves that person. They don't say, we hate you when you are in the court. We love you, but we want to spend more time with you when you are at home. And that's the example of Rath Yatra also. It's Krishna only, but when he came to Kurukshetra, he had his royal attire, kingly attire. And Brajvasis said, we don't want to see you in this attire, which Krishna wears when he is in Dwarka. He is in the form of a king. He has palaces, he has his courtroom. But in Vrindavan, he has a simple dress. So Brajvasis want to see him in the Vrindavan form, and they are pulling his chariot, come back to Vrindavan, and that is the Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra. So there is no offense in, wanting to have a particular type of relationship in a particular setting with the same person. There is no offense. So examples in Chaitanya Leela, there were younger brother of Rupa and Sanatan Goswami and Murari Gupta. They were Ram Bhaktas. There was no offense when they were performing Ram Bhakti. They were always remembering Lord Ram. Murari Gupta was like Hanuman. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Murari Gupta to start doing Krishna Bhakti more. And he said, just forget about Lord Ram. He was trying to tease him. And so whole night Murari Gupta couldn't sleep because he couldn't, not follow Mahaprabhu's instruction, and he also couldn't give up Lord Ram. So in the morning he said, better I should die because I can't follow your instruction. You have instructed me to give up Bhakti of Lord Ram, and also I can't give up Lord Ram. So better I should die today. So then Mahaprabhu said, nah, don't worry, you are fine. You keep doing what you are doing. Yeah. So if we are attracted to Krishna, we are in International Society for Krishna Consciousness. There is no offense to Lord Ram that way. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll finish here. Thank you very much. Granth Raj, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.